Welcome to Shree Magical Story.
In a neighborhood where kites tangle on the wind and children shout across the pavement, Aarav stays on the roof. He watches the skyline with a stillness that most kids his age haven't discovered yet. He is waiting for the exact second the sky turns to fire. He holds up an empty glass jar. The sunset pours inside, swirling, glowing, and humming with a soft electric pulse. To Aarav, a sunset isn't just a view, it's something that can be lost. He feels a physical ache every time the sun dips below the horizon, and the only way to stop that feeling is to take the light for himself. Every jar is a tiny victory against the night. He is convinced that if he can just collect enough of these moments, he'll never have to worry about the beauty of the world disappearing forever. His bedroom has become a vault. The windowsill is crowded with dozens of jars, each with its own name: Rose Tuesday, Golden Friday, Purple Storm. They provide the only light he needs, stolen evenings cupped under lock and key. But the more jars he adds, the heavier the air feels. He spends his nights checking seals and counting the glass, terrified that a single hairline crack could let his treasures leak away. Even in sleep, he can't find a break from the tension. He dreams of his jars going dark, one by one, until he is sitting in a room full of nothing but cold, empty glass. He has built a life around protecting these moments, yet he is finding that the more he hoards, the less he actually enjoys the light he saved. The first crack in his world comes from Kalu, a crow with a taste for shiny things. The bird dives for a glowing jar on the edge, snatches it, and fumbles it mid-flight. Aarav watches the jar fall, and the panic takes over. He doesn't just want the light back, he wants more. He brings 10 jars to the roof the next evening, his hands shaking as he tries to catch the colors faster than the sun can set. In his frantic rush, he doesn't notice the neighborhood kids playing near the stairs. A bag is bumped, jars roll, and 3 sunsets shatter on the stone. The light bleeds out of the glass and vanishes into the gray dusk. Aarav sinks to the floor. He is surrounded by the sharp remnants of his collection, his hands empty, and the rooftop darker than it has ever been. In trying to hold the light tighter than anyone else, he ended up with nothing but the broken glass on the steps. Mira finds him there. She doesn't offer a lecture. She just picks up one of the remaining jars and blows into it, making a sound like a dying trumpet. It's a ridiculous, loud noise that catches Aarav off guard, pulling a startled laugh out of him. That laugh is the first thing he's experienced in weeks that didn't feel like it needed to be put in a jar. It gives him the push he needs to visit Grandpa Ravi's rooftop garden. Grandpa Ravi doesn't show him a new collection. He shows him an old failure. Tucked under a garden cot are rows of dusty, faded jars from 60 years ago, gray, empty, and completely forgotten. Magic behaves differently depending on the space it's given. When you pull the world into a tight boundary, the glow chokes and eats itself. But when the walls come down and energy connects to other people, it pulses through a network that keeps it alive. Aarav looks at his own glowing jars, and then at the empty, dusty ones on the floor. He realizes that a sunset was never meant to be a solo experience. The next evening, Aarav doesn't hide. He stands on the roof and calls out to the children playing on the street, inviting the chaos he used to avoid right up to his windowsill. With a dozen kids watching, Aarav reaches for his jars. He doesn't look at them with fear anymore. He looks at them like gifts. One by one, he twists off the lids. The rose, gold, and violet light spirals out of the glass. It doesn't just disappear. It joins the sky, washing over the rooftops, painting the neighborhood in colors no one has seen for years. The shouting stops. Every child on the roof and every person on the street stands in total silence, their faces lit by the same swirling glow. The rooftop is not a vault anymore. The colors have grown beyond the glass, covering every street and every house in a way that a jar could never contain. He sees Mira's eyes go wide, and his mother leaning against the doorway with a smile. Kalu the crow even settles on a ledge, watching the light alongside them. Aarav picks up his very last jar, the one he called his most precious. He opens it without a second thought. A single swirl of gold rises up, blending into the silhouettes of the people around him. As the sky blazes, Aarav realizes he isn't worried about the morning. The light on the faces around him is brighter and more real than anything he ever kept on his windowsill.
It makes you wonder, is there something beautiful you're holding on to today that might grow even brighter if you let it go? Aarav isn't checking the seals on his jars tonight. For the first time, he doesn't have to hold on tight to keep the light from leaving.